Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus Team Call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Wealth Wednesday, and as of right now, we have 47 participants on the line. Make sure that you reach out to your team. We do not want any ICMs left behind. Make sure that you're setting up your new ICMs with the reminder text for these calls each and every morning. Today we get to learn from Daine Clark, and I really love Daine's teaching style, the way that he is able to convey the information. He just does it very clearly, and it's really always very inspiring and motivating. And I've been implementing a lot of what Daine teaches, and it works. And so I'm just excited to get started today. I'll go ahead and share some of Daine's background. Before Renatus, he was working 2 jobs. He was actually shy working for Apple. And for Apple, typically you need to be outgoing. You're out talking to a lot of customers, but they actually had Daine staying in the back because he was so awkward and just not very good at talking to people. So he would work in the back. And he was also a roofer, and with fair skin and red hair, being in the sun all day was definitely not Daine's cup of tea. And he happened to fall into roofing because that's what his dad did. He was barely making ends meet and started looking for other income opportunities. And after finding Renatus, he plugged into the systems and he listened to his mentor. He applied velocity banking to pay down debt and then used that as leverage as a down payment for a duplex. He lived in one side and rented out the other. And fast forward to today, Daine has now raised over $12 million from various investors to lend on real estate transactions. And his secret to that is consistency and frequency. And those consistency and frequency is so true because he is constantly increasing that number. Just a few months ago, it was 9 million and then 10 million and then 11, and now we're over 12 now. So it's really, truly consistency. And he's grown his team. He has become a PIT team member, meaning he's in training to be on the PAC, which is the President's Advisory Council, with our CEO, Bob Snyder. And he's recognized by Bob as a key leader. And we are very fortunate to get to learn from Daine this morning. So take good notes. Good morning, Daine.
Good morning, Keely. Thank you so much for that intro. How are you doing, by the way?
Doing really well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm doing awesome. Absolutely awesome. Good morning, everybody, Renatus Nation. So glad you're all here. We got a bunch of people trickling in as we go. And you guys know what I like to do. I'm interacting with you guys every single week. So if you already know what to do, just start chiming in the chat box. Let me know how many people were you able to have a conversation with or invite to a group conversation about Renatus in the last 7 days. If you're new, I do this every single week. I report my own numbers. In fact, one of these days I'll jump in there and I'll show you guys, how I track this every single week for the entire year. I can trace that in 2019, I made about $900 per one-on-one sit down with people. It was a little bit over, like $946.23 or something like that. Every single time I sat down with somebody to have a Renatus conversation with them, that they had already seen the intro, already seen it was up to $20,000 now. Nowadays, $23,000, or if they pay for it over 3 years, $28,750. But anyway, you guys get the idea. So chime in, let us know how many people. And I do this for a couple of reasons. One, when I was new, I didn't like this. When I first was told, I think it was Mr. Michael Huggins himself, hey, Daine, you got to be recording and reporting what you do every week. If you want success, then you got to do this. And so I reluctantly and, just smirked and snarled at Michael Huggins, but I did it. And, it helped me be honest with myself. I was honest with myself because if I ever had to report a 0 back then, which I still do today, so far in the year of 2020, I have reported 1 0. That was actually the very first week of the year, but I still, and I have ever since, I've reported my numbers ever since, for all these years, because when you report and measure yourself, and you keep track of it, right? We don't keep track of it on this call, but if you want extra credit, if you want extra success coming your way, then keep track of it so you can see a pattern in yourself that leads you to success. A lot of people ask me, well, Daine, I'm not having success. What am I doing wrong? And the first thing I want to ask them is, well, show me how many people you have communicated with, how many people you invited, how many of those people actually showed up, how many of those people you sat down with, either yourself or 5-star with your 5-star, how many of those people put their order in, how many of those people actually funded. And when I ask people that, oftentimes they'll just be like, well, okay, I know, Daine, I don't even need you to tell me what I'm missing. I know exactly why I'm not making money. Because they can't deliver that kind of information. And so obviously I don't track all of that stuff, but I track my one-on-ones. Because I know if I'm not doing one-on-ones every single week, that none of those other things are happening. I'm not inviting enough. I'm not committing enough. I'm not bam-famming, always booking a meeting from a meeting enough to get me in front of people. So, all right, we got a bunch of people already chiming in. Oh, great job, guys. All right, let's give some credit here. All right, Sarah had 2. Great job. Bruce had 1. Amy had 1. Alinda had 7 on Richard's call and 1 order going in. Oh, yeah. Great job, Alinda. Levi had 1. David and Gilda had 2. Michael had 4. Brigham had 10. Great job, brother. Ahmed had 1. Logan had 4. Corey Bear had 10 and 4 to events. Great job. Sherry Wallace had 9 contacts, 4 attended. I like that. So you're tracking, these people are tracking 2 different metrics here, and it's always going to be less. And so you can eventually run the math backwards and say, all right, if I just go have this many conversations, chances are I'm going to make some money. And I'm going to help. I'm actually going to find somebody that was actually looking for me, right? That's one of my favorite things, to hear somebody say when they're putting their credit cards in, they're like, man, I was looking for this, right? You got to look for those people, and that's not going to be everybody. And so you got to talk to a bunch of them. All right, let's see. Renee had 9, Esther had 5, James had 3, and Keely had 5 one-on-one follow-ups and multiple orders in the system. Great job. David had a goose egg, and he is going to crack that open this next week. The success gods are going to reward him for being honest with himself. Great job, brother. Jana had 6 at events, 1 essentials ordered and funded. Yes, great job, guys. That's so exciting. Scott had 4 and 3 orders. Man, look at you guys. We got orders going in. Jenna had 8 one-on-ones and follow-ups. Dawn had 2. Brigham had 5 guests. Oh, what do you do to track them? Also, what are the ways that you keep yourself accountable? So I actually have a group. In fact, you know what? You asked for it. So I don't know if the pit team is going to be okay with me doing this, but I'll just kind of give you guys an idea here. Oh, where is it? Right here. So I use a Google Sheet just like this. In fact, here, we'll just leave it like that so you guys can't see everybody else's numbers. But you can see every single week. Oh my gosh, I always forget to start doing that. Here we go. Zoom, start, share screen, and 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go. All right, thanks guys. Okay, so if you can see this, for protecting everybody's privacy, because I haven't asked them if they're okay with me showing this. And so you can see, like in the month of August, this is what we'll be tracking. And so every single week, I track my numbers. I have 4, I got 5, I got 7, I got 9, whatever. Oh, that one's a 0. That one's supposed to be an 8. Okay, and so I can see how many one-on-ones I did every single week. And then at the end of the month, I'll put in my income, 25 grand or 30 grand or $10,000 or whatever it is. I track that every single week and at the end of every month. So I can see a pattern and say, cool, I did 26 one-on-ones and I made $25,000. And so I can track and trace that, and I can see that for the last few years of my business, of how much I've been able to produce per one-on-one. And so I just use a Google sheet like this. In fact, if anybody wants to copy me, maybe what I'll do is next week I'll create a template of this, and anybody can just like copy and paste it. And so the second question too, I forget the gentleman's name that asked this question, but I'll jump back in there in a minute. But I also noticed that I have, 6, 7, 8, 8 other people on here that we also track and report our numbers in front of each other. And we talk about it. We talk about this on a weekly basis. And so if you want accountability, then jump on with other people that you communicate with on a regular basis that are also members of maybe your Renatus community, or friends, or your 5-star, even something. Be like, hey guys, I want to be accountable. Let's get like 5, 10 of us together, and let's all keep each other accountable and report our production, our results, what we were able to do at the end of a given week. And this way, we can know, like, hey, who needs help? Who needs a boost? And so you'll begin to realize that, I can't remember who said this, but who cares? It's true. If you're down, then you need other people. You need everybody else that actually had some results in the last 7 days. You need their energy. You need to see their success, and you need to be grateful and happy for their success. In fact, one of the books I was just reading, he talked about how if you look at somebody else that's having success and you despise them and you just whatever, you actually begin to kill your own success. But if you look at somebody that's having success and you're just like, yeah, that's so freaking cool. Great job, man. I'm so happy. Like, literally, I'm not saying just lip service. I'm saying you feel it inside. That you're just like, holy crap, that is so cool. It actually attracts more success to yourself, because you are feeling the feeling. You are feeling the feeling of success. Even though it's for somebody else, you duplicate that feeling in yourself, and it attracts it to you. You start doing the things that bring you success. So I gotta figure out when I'm gonna do this. But I'll make one of these that is just like a bare template, and anybody can, I'll just make a link or something like that where anybody can just go to that link and they can copy this into their own Google. And so it's just copy paste into whoever wants it. So I will do that for you guys if you want, or for whoever wants it, I should say. So cool. Look at all these awesome people. Brigham, that's who it was. So there you go, brother. Thanks for asking. Asking you shall receive, right? Got one more question. Can you touch on how you went from working in the back of the Apple Store to having conversations with people about Renatus, please? Let's see, is it Mayra? Accountability plan. Yes. In fact, the training I have today that I have planned is I'll talk a little bit about that, actually. I'll work that into what I've got in mind just for you guys. And those of you who don't know, like, as I go about my day or about my week, I'm always thinking about you guys, thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I have to train this on the call. And so yes, I've got something just for you guys today that I've been thinking about for actually about a week. And so let's see. All right, Pete, you asked me there you go. Power of the Subconscious Mind. His name's Joseph Murphy, Murphy. Joseph Murphy, Power of the Subconscious Mind. I just finished it, I think yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. just finished it yesterday. It was amazing. Read it all the way through, because each chapter is, I mean, and he just tells stories upon stories upon, I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing book. And I'm actually going to talk about it today just a little bit. A certain aspect about this. It wasn't one of the stories in the book, but it was a story that I attracted to myself because of the book, because I talk about it, right? Notice, I mean, I think there's a little bit of training in and of itself right here, where when I'm reading the book, dude, I am talking about it. I don't care who they are, if they're if they're members of Renatus, if they're not, I don't care. I'm talking about it, and I'm teaching other people what I'm learning. And that is really what like writes it on your heart. That's really what burns it into your mind, into your subconscious mind, because you are teaching other people and you're gaining a deeper understanding of what you're learning. And so part of answering your question, I think it was my Ira, something like that. Forgive me if I don't pronounce that right. But partial answer to your question there is, if you do that just in normal life, if that becomes your new normal, that you begin sharing the things that you're learning in your Renatus classes, like you take a class and then you just go start telling everybody about it. It was like, oh my gosh, I just learned how this guy picks up real estate using other people's money, and he doesn't even put a dime towards his real estate. You know, from maybe like a Chris Albin or somebody like a Jay Massey, or, you know, whoever, right? Even other students, right? Oh my gosh, I just learned, I just saw this person bust out how they do this. You start teaching people, and I mean, you have no idea what's going to come your way. In fact, I'd love to tell the story of the real estate deal that I'm working on right now. We'll get to it if we have time. We'll get to it. So, all right. Next thing on the list, I would love to do, I want to mentor somebody, right? And I do this every week. For those of you who are maybe new to the call, you know who you are. Go ahead and come off of mute. Ask me a question. Tell me a really brief story of an experience you had where you're just like, I don't know what to do here. You know, share with us an experience. What do you do next? I guarantee that everybody on the call is going to be glad you did, to hear us help you answer a question. Oh, you're welcome, Mira. Answer a question, help you through a situation. You know who you are. And so in 5, 4, 3, I got somebody off of mute.
It's
Sarah?
me, Sarah.
Sarah, how's it going?
Hi, Daine. I'm good. How are you?
You're doing great. What is your question? How can we help you today?
Well, I had a 3-way call after Scott Rose follow-up on Monday night with a couple that have never come in person to an event because quarantine, but I have been talking with. They went to Scott's Wednesday night intro, and then they went to Velocity Banking the following Wednesday, and then this past Monday they came to the follow-up. So they did all 3 steps, you know.
Okay.
And we had a 3-way, me and my 5-star Tom Robinson. I'm in Denver, you know, spoke with them before their intro, and then we spoke with them right after their follow-up. And like, I don't know, it seemed kind of like I've been doing everything right with them, and they seemed really interested, and they just want more time to think about things and don't feel they have time to put into watching the classes right now. So
what? I don't believe that.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of like, okay. I mean, they both are still working as essential employees, and they are both putting in like 60 hours a week right now.
Okay.
But I just was like, we talked a lot about watching them at night. We talked a lot about not, you know, necessarily doing Netflix the one night a week if that's all they have, not, you know, blitzing in the car, all the like strategies to save time for busy adults. And they're both interested, but like where I was kind of like, what the hell? Like I took I took your and Tom's advice to like not talk to them much by myself, because when I talk to them by myself without a third party involved in the conversation, I end up explaining too much. Like I'll describe velocity banking. I'll teach them things. And I've been really trying to work on sharing stories, asking questions, and not teaching them anything. In fact, Tom told me to like not even share with him what I'm learning in classes that I watch, because it just becomes this like, oh, cool. So you're my expert, because I'm a realtor and I've done a lot of deals. So people see me like I'm the instructor, and I really am trying to combat that. So
it's hard.
Like what I could have done with these two, since I really devoted like several hours to this. And I know it's not for everybody, but like three, I sold them a house, they have a mortgage, they're new to mortgages, they're new to credit. I'm like frustrated.
I am so glad that you're asking this, actually, because I think there's a lot of people, myself included, you know, I got my own stories of people that I invested all this time into and just nothing happened. In fact, one of the ones that kind of like hurt me. Like I shouldn't say it. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say that. It kind of hurt me inside a little bit, because there was one guy. I mean, I probably did like 4 one-on-ones with him, and usually I don't do that many, because I'm like, hey, either piss or get off the pot. You know, forgive me. I don't even know if that's French, but you know, a lot of people, I just say, hey, let's, like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm not gonna just keep on meeting with you. But you know, with this guy, I invested a little more time with him.
Totally.
He actually shared with me. Sorry, say that again.
I said totally.
Yeah, he actually shared with me on the very last one-on-one when I basically just cut the cord. And he said, you know, Daine, I'll be honest with you. I've actually just been trying to meet with you as often as I can, because I want to learn from you on what you're doing, and I want to duplicate it as best I can. And I'm just going to go do this on my own now. And I was just, dude, it kind of hurt. I was just like, dude, get out of my, you know, this was back before quarantine, get out of my truck. And, you know, I didn't really say that to him. That's what I was thinking, right?
I deal with that. I deal with that feeling a lot. Like, please don't waste my time. Please just buy the education. Like, I get really frustrated sometimes.
Yeah. So here's what I'm doing now. And because of, and I still left that very, very positively. Right. And so, in fact, he actually reached out to me recently, and he did, you know, was just like, hey, Daine, how are you doing? How are things going? Like, he's still so grateful for me. I personally believe that he's just going to be one of those long-term closes.
Yeah.
Where, he's totally going to buy this, right? There is no other system like Renatus, right? Renatus is unmatched with what they create. No other company does what we do. No other company creates, you know, for lack of a better term, real estate church, if you will, where I jump on these calls and for free. I had to do this, you know, because I just love it. I love communicating with other students. But anyway, so I think he'll be a long-term close. One of those things on your end is be okay if they are not quite ready. That's okay. If they're not quite ready, just tell yourself that. You know what? They're not ready yet. They will be, right? Anybody who is not investing in real estate, life is going to slap them in the face. I promise you, right? I've been doing this for enough years to know that people that I talk to today that are not ready, and those that I talk to, you know, and I talk to that same person a year, 2, 3 years from now, life is going to slap them in the face a little bit, right? Even if they go off and start a small business and they start having success, and then they call me and say, hey, coronavirus happened. Nobody could projected this. I'm like, I know, but real estate investors are having a heyday right now. I mean, imagine if you would have started investing in real estate back when you and I were first talking, you wouldn't be having this struggle in your business right now because you diversified, right? Real estate's been around for longer than, real estate's been around for as long as the earth has been. And real estate and investing has been around for as long as, you know, people could realize, like, hey, this is my real estate. You want to walk on it, then you're going to pay me. You're going to use it, you're going to pay me. And so, oldest trick in the book, real estate investing. Been around for longest, it's never going to change. And so one of those things that I felt the impression to tell you is just be okay. be okay that some people are not ready yet. Here's the next one though, and this is what I've been saying that's really been helping me and the people that I'm working with. And so let's see, I want to give you a formula. So here, let me jump over here. If you guys can still see my screen, I'm gonna give you this formula. All right, so every time I sit down with somebody, I say this. And if anybody can guess where I got this from, or tell me where I got this from, then I don't know, you get a gold star. So, all right. So when I begin sitting down with somebody now in a one-on-one, I tell them, right? And you could say this anywhere in the process, but I tell them, I say, all right, you know what? As we go through this, and we sit down and have these conversations, there's usually going to be one of three outcomes. Okay, so one is you just say, you know what, Sarah, shut up and tell me what to do next. I want this. I'm ready. I mean, let's go. Like, I just tell me what to do next. I'm excited. I don't care what you say. I'm doing this. Right. And so that's, that would be like a yes, where you just say, yeah, tell me what the next step is and I'll do it. Okay. Or you might be like, oh, you know what, Sarah, I can't see myself. I can see that you all are making money here. Right? And I love saying it this way. I can see that you all are making money here. And, deals are happening, things are happening. But you know what? I don't know if I can see myself doing this. This is just not for me, right? This is not my cup of tea. It's not me. And so I'm going to call that a no, right? Even, and some people are polite. Some people say, some people are just really nice, but if I ever saw you, when the quarantine was lifted and we're all at, let's say you and I are at Costco and we run into each other and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? And you just like try to hide and you duck behind this pallet of peanuts and chocolates because you don't want to see me because it's awkward. Like, I don't want it to go there. So are you okay if you start feeling those feelings, right? You're not allowed to tell me that you're afraid because fear means you need to do this. But if you just say, this is not for me, are you comfortable straight up telling me that? And I make them tell me yes. And so then they're like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm totally okay telling you that. I say, great. Now, the third type of person is the one who's just like, oh, Sarah, maybe I could do this. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Let me think about it, right? And so I always tell people, like, if you tell me that you just want to think about this, are you okay if I at least temporarily take that as a no, just so that I can find and work with somebody else who is ready? Because are you okay with that? And so I ask them to tell me yes 3 times, right? They tell me yes 3 times. So 1, are you okay telling me like, hey, shut up and tell me what to do next? 2, are you okay telling me, you know what, I don't think I should do this. This is not for me. And then 3, are you okay telling me, like, even if it's a maybe, are you okay if I take that as at least a temporary no, so that I have closure in my mind and I can be helping somebody else? Right, this actually closes them. I'll tell you what, this actually closes them right in the beginning of the conversation. In fact, I had one lady. This was right before the quarantine, and so we were still meeting in person. I sat down and I did this on my iPad, and she grabbed my Apple Pencil out of my hand, and she said, and she circled this and said, just tell me what to do, Daine. Let's do this, right? And I didn't even do the one-on-one.
Right.
And she whipped out her credit card and she put her order in with her credit card at the same time. So I mean, cool, really cool. I mean, obviously it doesn't happen every time, but you are closing people as you're saying this to them.
Right.
Right. Because they're sitting in front of you for a reason. And this also helps them realize that they're making a decision, that they get to make the decision. You're not just like this pushy salesperson or whatever. You're like, hey, this is how it works. And they're just like, anyway. So did I get anybody who guessed? Let me check my comments here. Did I get anybody who guessed where I got this from? Stephen Richardson. Let's see, did somebody else guess it before you did? Jay Massey. Yep, Kevin Woods. I think you were the first one. Jay Massey in his real estate sales success class. Real estate sales success. When people ask me if they can work with me but not buy the education, I have been telling them. Tim, I'm not sure if you finished that thought.
Yeah, I thought the enter button would give me the next line, not send it.
Oh. Yeah. In fact, since you're off mute, go ahead and tell everybody. I'd love to have you tell them, and then I gotta finish. I gotta jump over to my little thing I wanted to do for everybody. But yeah, go ahead, brother.
No,
Sarah, does that help you?
I was going to say, Daine, it'd be grateful. It'd be nice to hear your part, like what you say, because I'm sure you get that a lot more than I do. So, like getting like the safety.
Yeah, I get that one all the time. In fact, I've got to deal with that today. I got a guy that actually already texted me. Let's see. I've got a guy that texted me. Or sorry, he emailed me last night actually. Let's see, where is he? Scott Day, right here. Looks like, I love just sending people other people's deals and be like, yeah, look at this deal that one of my students closed, or one of our students closed. Would love to do some deals together. I hate to tell you, but I'm going to wait on the education part of the conversation. Been talking to some banks. We'll see how it goes. So I get to deal with that today, actually, because I'm going to meet with him a little bit later. And so, yes, I see that all the time. And so here's what I'm going to tell him. I'm going to say, you know what? If you don't want mentorship, if you don't want to learn how to do this for yourself, like I want to work with educated people, right? Because I mean, it sounds like really similar to what you already say. I think I caught a little bit there. I want to work with educated people because I don't know what you know. I don't know what you don't know. And this guy is a very successful. I mean, he straight up told me he had $1 million sitting in the bank, right? And he in the beginning of our conversation, he said he wanted to learn, and I said, cool. If you want to learn, then you and I should talk. And so that's how our conversation started. And so I showed him Renatus, and he watched the video. He was like, holy cow, velocity banking is freaking cool. Yeah, he's got $1 million in the bank, but he also has like $2 or $3 million in debt. And so I showed him velocity banking. He's like, oh my gosh, like I could see how this could probably work for me. And I could be debt free in like a few years. Like this would be cool. I could keep my $1 million in the bank and just use my cash flow and be debt free really quickly. And so he saw the vision, and then he emailed me this yesterday. And so for him, I'm gonna say it like this: if you want to do deals with me, I want to work with educated people. Like if you want to get in on the action, then yeah, I only want to work with educated people. However, if you bring a deal, I'll look at it. And as well as if let's say you want to just be a bank and you have all this money, then I will let you piggyback, right? If I'll use your money and I'll just treat you like a bank, but because I'm going to be the most educated person in the deal, money is easy to come by, right? I essentially am going to downplay that he has money, because a lot of people who have money think that they are the most important thing. Sorry, but you're not. People have money everywhere. And so money is one of the easiest commodities to come by. Deals are harder to come by than money. And so I'll just basically downplay the fact that he has a lot of money and say, hey, tell you what, like if you want to piggyback on some of my deals, then sure, I'll treat you like a bank, and you can kind of watch me go through some of these steps with what it takes to be involved in a real estate deal as the bank. And yeah, you'll learn a little bit of stuff, but it's not going to be like mentorship. I'm not going to spend my time to teach you. I'm going to spend my time to go find a deal and say, hey, do you want to get in on this? And so that's usually what I'll tell people. If they have money. Where if they don't have money, then it's more like, dude, I only want to work with educated people. And so if you bring me a deal, then sure, I'll look at it and I'll make sure you get paid. But I'm not going to spend a bunch of time teaching you myself. You'll learn a little bit hands-on, but and then I for the people who don't have money, I follow it up with this, and I say, a lot of people have told me that. No one, I repeat, no one has ever done it because they don't know. They don't know how to do what I do because they have not gone where I have gone, right? And I'll whip up and I'll be like, like if you want to see my own journey here, let me show you guys. I'll show you guys this. I think I've showed this before. Here's my master sheet with all my class schedule. Here is where I have gone. So I have taken, I joined in November of 2015. I was in the middle of a semester at school. And so I didn't watch any classes in November or beginning of December. And so you can see the very first class I ever watched was December of 2015, Velocity Banking, back when it was, that Hawaiian, I forget his name. But anyway, and so they've updated the class since then. The first time I watched Tax and Legal was back in January of 2016. And you can see I busted it. I busted it out in January. I basically finished my essentials in January. Busted it out, right? And partially back because I was shy, didn't want, I didn't talk to any people. I didn't come to the local meetings. I was just watching education, sitting at home, right? I'd go to my day job and I'd watch education. That was it. That was the only thing I did. No Netflix, no nothing. I probably drove my wife crazy. She's pregnant with our first kid. At this point she's like 10 months pregnant. 11 months pregnant, and I'm just watching classes like crazy. And so you can see I did that in February as well. Watched a bunch of classes, and you can see, they came out with the rehabbing classes in 2018. They came out with the due diligence class just last year as well. I finished that in 2020. And so you can see I'm still going through stuff, right? I just finished Rob Sperry's class this month. And so I tell people, like, if you want to go where I'm going or where I've gone, then follow my footsteps. I want you educated, right? If you want to do deals like I do, then, or like I should say we do, because, not everybody has done a deal yet. And so you say things like, hey, if you want to do deals like we are, then you got to walk in our footsteps. Right? And anybody that is successful, you want to do what they are doing. People that are doing deals in our community, they're getting educated, right? People that are doing deals outside of our community, they're probably DIY. They're doing it yourself, and it's probably going to come back and bite them because they don't know what they don't know. But anyway, so there's my high horse. I don't know if I would say all of that to somebody. Because that was there's a little bit of a soapbox there, but yeah, tone it down a little bit. Share with people, hey, we want people to be educated. So in fact, here, Tim, I'm gonna read what you said because I would love to know too. But one, real estate investing, real literacy. I need to have access. Yeah, basically, I want you educated. I already have a team that I work with. All of them serious about education. Yeah, so yeah, I love it. Please share that form to Wanda. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Let's see, knowledge and relationships, Trump money, absolutely. Updated with profits. Ooh, yeah, I need to update that with my profits. I just put it on the bottom. But finish my sales process. Sandra, get your, if you don't already have it, get your AIT. If you want my own path, then go to DaineClark.com/tracker. And all the tools that I create for myself, I'm not stingy. I always duplicate, or I always make a template where somebody else could be like, hey, let's, in fact, oh, that's where I'm going to put it. I'll put that link to that tracker that I was showing you for my numbers, I'll put that in this link. So in this Google sheet, I mean, I got how I track all my, how I track, you know, who I'm working with. I track all the money that I've raised. I track my education that I watched. I track my my template week of what I do every, you know, how many conversations I want to have, how many hours of education I watch, all that stuff. And so, yes, David, I will be including profits in that. I'll figure out a way to make that nice and pretty as well. So, all right, what time is it? It's 50. All right, I got 10 minutes. All right, here we go. I want to share something with you guys. So last week, I shared some ideas on the subconscious mind and things that I have been learning from that book and applying. And so, quick story. I want to share actual things that I've been printing off here. Let's see, right here. So here is one of my vision board pictures. And I forgot to take a picture of like the whole vision board, but if you've ever seen the way I like to do this, it's on like a not a paper clip, it's on like a clothespin. So I'm already telling my subconscious mind that I'm going to pull this thing off really quick and easy, right? It's not taped. It's not, you know, I didn't print off a vision board that you know, if I ever needed to change my vision board, that I have to like print a new one. Like, no, I just printed off a picture and I wrote down my affirmation on a sticky note and I slapped it on the wall. It's right next to my bed, right? So I wake up in the morning. I've already seen this today because I wake up and it's like right by my sock drawer. And I know I put socks on every day. And so I see it every single day. And so I'm not sure if you guys can see this little affirmation here, but I wrote this out in my handwriting, right? This is important, in my handwriting. And I put, I am so grateful that people who own real estate in great neighborhoods with 3 to 5 bedrooms are seeking me out to solve their real estate problems. These people have exhausted other solutions and are ready to just hand their problem off to me to relieve their stress. And I will take on their headache. Their headache, however, is something that I can quickly and easily and systematically turn into a profit center for myself through either flipping, wholesaling, rental, or seller financing, as well as for my team, right? This is a profit center for my team too. This makes me feel extremely humbled that I have the knowledge and the means to help these people while providing jobs, ultimately a roof over the heads of my team, and food on the table because they are working alongside me. So you can see I've been doing this since March of 2020. I put the date that I created that affirmation because I want to know how long have I been working on this affirmation. So I put March of 2020. And I've been saying that daily. If you want extra credit, I recorded myself with this so that I can hear myself talk to myself, if you will, because you know there's one part of the brain that is utilized to speak. There's another part of the brain utilized to hear, to feel, to touch. And so if you want third-party credibility, I have my wife record this, and she, you know, she changes the language and stuff. Like Daine, it is so cool to see how grateful you are that people who own real estate, you know. So I have my wife say it like in that not third person, but almost like an affirmation from somebody else. Third-party credibility. That's what I'm talking about. Or third-party. Anyway, you guys get. I'm running out of time, so I gotta hurry. Right. So quick story. Made an offer on a house on Friday last week. And back up. Made an offer on a house about a month ago that was like exactly this, and it didn't end up working out. I mean, there's a chance that it still might, but it did not end up working out, right? It was so close. I mean, we made the offer, they accepted it. We found meth in the house, changed everything. You know, we were trying to get deeper discounts and you know, there's a divorce situation, attorneys involved. And I just ended up saying, you know what, this is too much work. I'm not going to go this. I'm not going to go here. And so, ended up backing out, right? But, didn't get me down one bit. Made an offer last week on Friday to a gentleman named Seth. Seth owns a piece of real estate, 3 bedrooms, right? 3 to 5 bedrooms right here. And he starts telling me his story, and I almost begin to cry, because he tells me, yeah, I got this 3-bedroom place. This house needs a little bit of work. I have been trying to refinance this, right? I have exhausted all my other options. I've been trying to figure this out since last year. And I originally thought I was going to be able to refinance and solve my problem. He's got a bunch of signature loans, underlying problem there. A bunch of signature loans that are like come and due. He can't handle them, destroying his credit. And so he's like, I've exhausted all these other options. I got to do something. And, if there's anything you can do to help me, I'm game. And so I said, tell you what, do you want to stay there or do you want to move? And he said, if I could stay here until I need to move, great. But if you can help me solve my problem, great. And so I was like, cool. So I make the offer. He already has an appraisal in hand for $270,000. I made him an offer at $180,000, and he said, take it. Cheers. That will solve all my problems. I will start over free and clear, fresh. Like I'll just start a new life from scratch. And he's like, and he's so grateful that I'm doing this for him. It is the weirdest thing. He's exhausted other options, and I'm going to be able to turn this little guy into a profit center quickly and easily right off the bat, and have $90,000 of equity. I just had the inspection come back yesterday, and more headaches, right? Roof is shot, HVAC is shot, furnace is shot, galvanized piping, plumbing, in other words, is shot, electrical is shot. Like it needs all this stuff. And so I was like, dude, Seth, I did not account for all this. I based on our conversation, I didn't budget for any of these things. And so we're gonna have to talk a little bit different. And so he says this, not me. He says to me, he's like, you know what? I've heard about, some seller financing stuff. If it will save you any money to just do some seller financing, I'll seller finance it to you. As long as I can solve my problem, then I will seller finance it to you. And so I was like, cool, I'll make it work. I'll see what I can do. And so now we're talking seller financing. And then I went back to the bank. I went back to the same bank that he was trying to finance with. And I said, hey, you guys have a copy of that appraisal, correct? And they said, yes. I said, next question, do you lend on investment properties? Yes. And they said, yeah, we do. I said, great. Will you actually lend to me on this house based on that appraisal that you already have in your hand? And they said, yeah, I think we can make that work. And so I said, great, let's line it up. So I'm currently getting pre-qualified, and because of that $270,000 appraisal, I mean, yeah, I'll buy it on seller financing with him, but they're gonna immediately refinance based on that appraisal. AKA, I will probably get paid to buy this house because of this. Because a $270,000 appraisal, even 80%, we're talking like $212,000 or something like that. And I'm only buying it for $180. Likely is going to be less because of all this extra stuff that I got to budget for. Crazy, right? So here's the point that I wanted to make. I got 2 minutes to wrap this up, right? So here's the point that I wanted to make in this. Your 100%. All right, here we go. Your mindset, your subconscious mind, all the things that we talk about, your mindset is a muscle. Muscle. That's how you spell it, right? Your mindset is a muscle. You have to work on it every single day. Every single day. Quick story, and I know we're going to go over. There was a gentleman that was very successful, very, very successful guy. He did, I think he records or something like that. I don't know. Doesn't matter. very successful guy. He did a couple of things that were a little bit shady that caused him to go to prison for 1 year. Lost everything for 1 year in prison, lost his business, lost his family, lost his money, lost his credit, lost everything. He found a book while he's in prison. Didn't even mention the name of it, but something along the lines of like the power of positivity, personal development, mindset. He read this book because it was the only thing he had for a year. He read this book 200 times over the same book, over and over and over again. 200 times he read this book. He got out of prison. And because of being able, he knew this so well, and he had done it every single day, worked this muscle, this mindset muscle. He was able to rebuild his entire empire and then some. It's kind of like the story of Job if you read the Bible, but he was able to rebuild his empire and then some in record time, absolute record time. And he attributed every penny of that because he read that book every day, and he had finished the same book over 200 times. His empire began to diminish. Almost overnight. He's like, I started losing money like crazy. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. And he remembered, he's like, I haven't read that book since I got out of prison. So it helped me get to where I was going. But the moment I stopped exercising that mindset and strengthening it, my income started to go back down. And so he started reading the book every single day again, and he was able to bring that his business, his empire, right back to where it was almost instantaneously. And so for everybody on the call, everybody who can hear my voice right now, if you've got your affirmations, don't stop at just creating them. You have to feel, you got to feel that every single day. If you're reading a book that has personal development, don't worry about reading the next one. Read the same one over and over and over again. Pick one. Pick the one that just speaks to you and read it over and over and over and over again if you need to. Never stop building that muscle, right? Come Monday morning for myself, coming off of a 3-day weekend, Monday morning, man, I was feeling it. I was feeling depression, just settling in, all this, stuff going around and around. And I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to sabotage my whole day. I had a bunch of one-on-ones on Monday. I'm going to sabotage my whole day. And so I stopped everything. I sat down, I started reading my personal development book. I went to my affirmations, right? So you got to keep it going, right? The day that you feed yourself, or the day in which you feed yourself, you need to feed your mind. Every day that you feed yourself, you need to also feed your mind. Every single day. Never stop. Because it's what's going to pull you up. So, all right, guys, I better check comments here real fast, and then we'll call it a morning. Power of the subconscious mind. Daine, the letter's awesome. Let's see. How can I ask how you found Seth? He was referred to me by the loan officer. One of these days I'll do a little training about how I was able to get that loan officer to call me when she had that situation. But yeah, awesome. Love you all. Power of the subconscious mind. Did you get a head start on Rob Sperry's class? This says post version. So Rob Sperry's class, in the bonus track of your combo, Gene, is the one I just finished. It's called Social Media Success. I have not seen it come live in Profits yet. As soon as Rob Sperry's class goes live in Profits, I will be watching it. Oh my goodness, that one's on my list. But yeah, love you all. Have a wonderful Wealth Wednesday. Build your mindset every single day. Build that muscle. I'll see you all in a week. Have a great one. Love you all.